All right, welcome everyone. It's been a very interesting day, and every time I have created this or moved this, something has happened. So I am here, and as I arrived, it said we're not scheduled to go live for another 45 minutes for an hour. So my confusion with this streaming platform is that uh, I'm not on Central Time. It says it's scheduled for Central Time, and now it is not correct. So I am just going to go ahead and go, I guess. Wow, I'm not sure what to do because if I end this and come back, then it will be a different link. So I guess we're just gonna go for it. Okay. Oh, well, so wishes fulfilled. I'm so excited about this. It's been something that has been building in me for so long. I love teaching the laws of the universe. I love teaching mindset, energy work, spiritual work, intuition, understanding yourself, how you create your reality, what is manifestation. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for coming. I think the timing is still a little off, but we're going for it. And so Akasha here, Nan Akasha, thank you so much for being here. And I want to invite you to really become something different today, to step out of what you thought was real, what you thought was important, excuse me, what you thought, oh, I didn't even put my thing on yet. Oh my gosh. I wish I could stop it and start it, but I can't. Otherwise, the link will be different. So we will have people coming on in a while, and that's okay. It's all perfect. It's all perfect. So, what's happening right now in the world is that we are in a very accelerated moment in consciousness, and consciousness is all that is. Everything is an imagination. We don't really empower that word. It's been diluted either into a compliment like, wow, you're a man of imagination. You invented the airplane, you know, or Einstein had such imagination and he said imagination is more important than knowledge. And yet we've also belittled the idea of imagination. We've said, oh, wow, that's just your imagination. Stop imagining things, get realistic, and step into the mundane world. So, the biggest thing that I want to convey to you today is that whatever you believe or whatever you have been living is not what you have to continue to live. We've all been conditioned into a very limited reality. We've all been given a lot of false beliefs, truths, and lies. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just the way the world is right now. So we're going to step out of guilt and blame because judgment, blame, guilt, shame, victimhood, anger, craving, disappointment, these are all part of the issue of why you do not have the life you wish for. So we have to raise our state of consciousness. And we are in an accelerated moment when we can raise our state of consciousness. And by raising our state of consciousness, we can access a completely different reality. There's going to sound like some of these truths I'm going to tell you sound like too good to be true. Oh, I've tried that before. Oh, I know the law of attraction or whatever else. I want to invite you to put your disbelief, your judgment, and everything aside. Excuse me a sec. And come into a moment where you are able to. Hi, can you guys let me know if you can hear me because I'm using a different microphone. So I just want to make sure. Hi, MK. Hi, guys. I'm so glad you got here. The time is still a little whack. But we're going for it. Okay. So hi, Holly and Patty and number 222, MK. Ooh, my dear friend. And Stacy Jam. Hi, guys. So I want to invite you to enter this space and come on a journey with me today. Excellent. That is something really profound because you're going to go into a state. Perhaps you haven't felt this since you were a child. Perhaps you were just in my Intuition Awakening class and you really opened yourself up to new possibilities. Excuse me again. Perhaps you've been playing with spirituality, meditation, energy work, reading laws of the universe, reading the truths, taking all these different classes and all the wonderful things that are out there. I've had a long journey myself. I've been doing this for 38 years consciously and in many, many other lives. And what I love about our other lives is that everything exists at once. So one of the truths that I want you to take with you is that all creation is already existing. If everything is already created, then there's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to struggle or work hard for, nothing you have to figure out how to create. Now, this is something I did my whole life. Work really hard, work really hard, work really hard. Lots of time, lots of energy, lots of worry, lots of never believing that I could have it, lots of all those beliefs, right? So I started to learn meditation. I started to read spiritual books that blew my mind, like The Nature of Personal Reality by Jane Roberts and channeled through Seth, if you've ever read some of that stuff. Alice Bailey went deep, deep into these ancient mysteries. She channeled the Tibetan. I started going to mystery schools. I went through 5.5 levels of, 5.5 levels or something of the Melchizedek method. I'm a Melchizedek master, a Kamadam master, Gaiadan master. And I've studied with many, many shamans around the world. I've done a lot of work in situ, meaning I go to pyramids, I go to temples, I go to sacred places. I work with the energies. I started with animal communication and animal healing. And that led me to energy healing for people because I would work with their animals and they'd say, wow, could you work with me? And I learned everything from radionics and Rife, which is energy medicine at a very frequency level, very scientific, very powerful, and thankfully is starting to come into the regular healing world in Germany anyway. And I kept going underneath. I kept saying, well, what's underneath that? Is there a faster way, a more fun way? Is there something underneath that I'm not getting? I don't want to play with all this stuff on the surface anymore. And that desire drove me. Now, I have to tell all of you that one of the reasons that we've all been playing in the dark is because of the state of consciousness available on the planet. We've all been conditioned into a particular culture. We have a history and we have proof around us that says, well, if you do this, you could be successful, but you probably won't. And we have people in our lives that say, oh, well, don't get your hopes up or you'll be disappointed, thinking that they're somehow helping you from not deciding that you want to know what you want to go for what you want, believe you can have what you want. And these are the biggest stumbling blocks we have. We have been literally programmed and limited both by our external environment and by our programmed soul contracts, vows, agreements we've made with ourselves at a spiritual or soul level from all the lives that already exist that we perceive as past lives, where we have had something traumatic happen. Perhaps we were killed for our money. Perhaps we were beheaded or burned at the stake for being an intuitive, being a healer, being somebody who could see other people's energy field and see the truth. And as we went into the dark ages, like a long time, not just the medieval era, okay, we went into low, low states of consciousness, the entire planet. So there's only so much we could expect from humanity in that time. It's like being in the basement and being mad at yourself that you can't see 5 miles away. You need to be at the top of the building. You need to be at the top of the mountain in order to have that vista. And this is how you can think about states of consciousness. So we're talking about consciousness if you were raised in a religion that talked about God or Jesus or some kind of a savior person as someone outside of you, as somebody you should look to, that you should pray to, that you should beg for forgiveness from. If you were told that you're naturally sinful, you're naturally bad, you naturally don't get to have what you want,
if you were told you had to go to some outside authority, a government, a family member, a father, a church, a priest, or whatever, that they were the ones that was going to tell you what to do. They were the ones that was going to tell you what you could have. They were the ones that knew the truth, that they could interpret the truth. And it's all across the world that this has been happening, okay? So when the corruption of truth and consciousness happened, we call it the fall. We call it the flood. Maybe Atlantis sunk. Maybe the flood in the Bible, okay? Maybe the Big Bang happened. Whatever you want to call it, whatever perspective you want to take, it's the same thing that happened on the planet that took us away from that natural divinity, that natural divine wisdom and infinite intelligence that we knew that we were God. We knew that we were the creator. We knew that we were the I am. So one of my favorite sayings is, I am that I am, Ea Esher Ea. Ea Esher Ea is a sacred language that's saying, I am that I am. And what you're doing when you say that is, we know now that we want to say, I am happy, I am prosperous, I am successful, I am healthy, I am living a joyful life, instead of I want to, I hope to, I will. Okay. And I hope you take that very, very seriously, because quite literally, your wishes cannot be fulfilled if you are always saying, I want that, I will be that, I wish I was that. Okay. I like the word wishes because they can embody magic, and it's different than wants. And I like the word desires because it's a soul calling. Okay. And we have a lot of ego desires. We have a lot of unfulfilled desires at lower levels that create cravings in us. And this creates huge blocks that create stress and belief in that we're not good enough, and belief that you didn't do it right, and wondering what to do, and feeling like a failure, and getting to the point where you just don't even want to get up and try anymore, even though you're craving that love of your life, or craving that success or that money. You're craving that feeling of being good enough and happy and loving yourself, or joy, or walking down the street and just being blissed out and seeing the beauty and abundance around you. We're supposed to live in that natural state. And yet most of us were not taught that. Most of us were taught, work hard, you're not good enough. If you suffer a lot, maybe once in a while, you'll be approved of. We're constantly taught to seek approval from the outside, to seek the outer authority, to look to the external world to tell us what's true, and to look with our senses, not our intuitive senses, not our 360 senses, not our divine feminine senses, not the divine godlike I am, presence, source, all of that bigger vision senses. These senses, well, I don't see the money, so I can't do the thing. I don't see the weight loss, so I'm clearly not doing the right thing. I don't see the success. I don't see the manifestation of the house or the car or whatever it is you want. And there's a lot of reasons why you've been wanting something, and maybe for a long time, and maybe you've been doing your spiritual work for a long time, and you're like, when is this going to work? And you're faithful, and you're committed, and maybe you dabble in and out, and then you think, well, it's because I'm not committed and I'm not consistent. Okay. So there's truth in all of these things, but the bigger picture is that the things you believe are limiting you. And the fact that you don't believe that you can have what you want, you think you have to work hard for it, sacrifice and struggle, pay your dues. That's one of the good ones, right? Pay your dues, that it takes a long time, that it takes more money than you have, that it takes more wealth, more riches, more education, more sexiness, more beautiful long hair, more whatever it is, okay? I used to think, well, I can't be successful because I'm not a big, gorgeous, beautiful blonde. And if I get on stage, nobody will love me, right? All of these things are not true. They are bullshit. But it isn't because anybody was trying, okay? There was a system set up a long time to control and manipulate people, to keep people from these divine truths, to keep people from knowing that they are the creator, that you are God, goddess, creator, whatever you want to call it. You are source. You are not separate from it. You do not have to beg anybody. You do not have to plead. You do not have to show up with all of your suffering in order to finally get something that you want. And yet this is so ingrained in us, in our culture, in our society, that we literally have this messed up, mixed up, confused sense of what to do, what to think, what to feel, what to be, and it is creating the reality every day that isn't what you want. It isn't your wishes fulfilled. Sometimes you get it, sometimes it lasts, sometimes it's what you wanted, sometimes it's a little bit of what you wanted, sometimes it shows up but it's too late, or it didn't show up on time. And then you say, well, I'm glad I got the money for my rent, but I wish it had showed up a different way. And then you're rejecting what it is, and you're not allowing the universe to find the pathways to deliver to you your wishes fulfilled. So prosperity manifestation magic is something that I'm fully committed to now. In my work, it's been my personal journey. And my personal journey has led me to teaching and has led me to going deeper and deeper and deeper and going through deep suffering, deep success, deep loss, deep everything. You name it. I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've been through a bankruptcy. My daughter died. I've achieved incredible and amazing things. Miracles, literally miracles have manifested. I know how to heal my body in ways because I'm an energy medicine worker and a shamanically trained healer. I know how to see your energy. I know how to travel dimensions. I know universal laws. I know all this stuff. And yet I still have had to go through 38 years to get to this point where the revelation, the reverence, the serenity, the absolute faith that your wishes can be fulfilled. And I walk into it every single day. I'm manifesting and embodying it instead of hoping for it. I no longer believe that there's something wrong with me, that I have to fix something. I'm no longer dragging around the burdens in the back of my mind or on my shoulders or energetically. Oh my gosh, when that's going to happen? Oh, I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to go for it. But then this doubt there coming along on the shoulder saying, well, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I hope it won't. I know now that absolute, complete commitment to the faith, to my imagination as something that is powerful, not something that is stupid and childlike, that I have the power to create, to believe, to commit, to have the faith, to have the focus, to walk into that reality of joy and peace and success and poise and confidence and wishes fulfilled, and be on the path of my bliss and play with the people in my field of bliss and never again have a single friggin' doubt that pollutes my mind or my reality. And that's what I want for you. So I'm moving into a whole new level of teaching. And I'm going to take you through universal truths and laws that maybe you're like, oh, I've heard that one before. Well, you haven't heard it this way. You haven't heard it from me. You haven't heard it in a way that takes you past, oh yeah, that thing, that didn't work. If you're saying that and you're hearing this, then that's one of your blocks. Because we were taught to not believe or to say, oh, I believe. I'm working with some private clients right now, and we're going super deep. We go super deep, okay? We're going into soul lineage is other lives to see their true magnificence and power, to see where they both have enormous wounds and enormous powers, where they are headed because of their soul's design. And one of them the other day, it still blows my mind. I get to go on these journeys and I get to receive in our Intuition Awakening School. I'm getting to see them and they're getting to do readings for each other. And we're all just going, wow. And there's wishes and gifts and beauty and love and joy that we can take in from every single person's journey. But then we have to come back into ourselves because we are the only creator in our reality. We can't wait for someone to rescue us. We can't defer to the authorities outside of us. We cannot listen to the opinions of others. I'm sorry, but you can't. Anyone. I don't care how much you love them. Okay. And we cannot trust our mind or our senses. If you say, I can't do it because I don't see how, then you are not living a true life as a creator. Now, One of the laws, one of the truths I want to tell you right now is that if everything exists already, all of the lives you lived, all of the lives you could live, every potential possibility, you moving along a path or a timeline right now into something that you want, it could manifest in 10 years, in 10 seconds. It could manifest through struggle, loss, and suffering. It could manifest through joy, miracles, and amazing delight. It could manifest in a bazillion different ways, and it's completely up to you. So the hard part is you're 100% responsible for everything you've ever done, everything you've ever experienced, and that can suck. Okay, that can feel really harsh and really mean. And if you want to go into your victim mode and say, well, fuck you, I didn't want cancer. Fuck you, I didn't want my daughter to die. I don't like any of that shit. I'm not going to listen to this. You have the right. Go ahead and leave because you want to stay. You want to fight for your limitations. You want to argue for lack. Go for it because you don't want to be in my world. I don't believe in lack. I refuse limitations. I am 100% about sovereignty. I'm 100% about stepping into being the manifester. So here's the difference. I'm going to say you're a creator because it's a great feeling, right? We are the creators of our reality. Well, yeah. However, if everything is already created and it's already created by the divine, God, Goddess, Source, whatever you want to call it, okay? It's already created. That means everything is here. You're in a buffet. You could say, I want whatever it is, and they could say, here it is, over here, come this way, right here. Now, what's keeping you from getting it? All of those fucking doubts, all of those beliefs, all of that. Oh, I did that before. Oh, it's going to be too much work. Oh, I tried, but then I failed and I don't want to be embarrassed and disappointed again. And every other belief in the shame and the guilt and the blame and being condemned. And it's heavy and there's a ton of it out there. And I've been walking through it for decades. So I'm in no way making fun of or making light of your situation or what you've been through, because most of the world's been heavily abused, heavily criticized, heavily doubted, heavily controlled, heavily manipulated, heavily gaslighted, and on and on and on. And sadly, mostly by those we expect to love us unconditionally, expect to want the best for us. However, you have to realize everyone else is coming out of this darkness too. Our family, our parents, our friends, our kids, even our partners, our teachers, our employers, our employees, our coworkers, our friends, everybody. We're all coming out of the soup. And the soup has been very dense and very heavy, and it's been hard to see. It's like being underwater, and it's hard to move and hard to see, and it's kind of dark, and the shapes are blurry. This is why this moment is so friggin' powerful. This moment is more powerful than anything that's ever existed on the planet. And that's even when the consciousness was very high, when they were building pyramids, when Atlantis could create a sphere of consciousness, when they could communicate with crystals and work with them as conscious beings to create huge spheres and grids of light over their continent to keep the consciousness high, to heal, vibrationally heal like that. There is no disease you have in your body, in your mind, in your reality. There is nothing that you have suffered in the past that needs to define you, that needs to be manifest anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, well, then just go bully yourself and blame yourself for having a disease or having been abused. No, don't do that either. Come into this moment and let go. Okay. Forgiveness is not something you want to work at. Forgiveness is at the state of acceptance. When you just say, okay, I'm just accepting what is right now. That's not condoning it or choosing it or saying it's okay. There's a shit ton of stuff on this planet that is not okay. It is not good. It is not kind. It is not prosperous. It is not fair. And we could go on forever, going into every little micro tube of these people are being treated like this, and that person did this, and it wasn't fair, and they didn't show up to fix my internet, and this happened, and that happened, and on and on and on and on and on. This person got a promotion instead of me, and these people stole my money, and this person hacked my grandmother, and okay, I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I've had clients who've worked with human trafficking victims, if you want to call them that. Okay, I'm very aware that there is an enormous amount of abuse and inequality happening on the planet. However, guess what? I'm also very aware that I'm the creator of my reality. And if I want to manifest more of that, then I can go spend a lot of time on it. I can feel sad. I can feel pity. I can see them as victims. I can see them as powerless. Then what am I doing? I'm adding to their powerlessness. I'm adding to more victims. I'm adding to more pity. I'm adding to more abuse. I'm adding to both sides of it. If you get sucked into the war, if you get sucked into the sadness, if you get sucked into all that stuff, you're creating that. You have to understand you're the creator, you're the creator, you're the creator, period, end of story. There is absolutely no other person who is in charge of that. So your awareness of it, your consciousness of it is what is creating it in your reality. Now, I walk in a reality where a lot of these things don't exist. I don't see them. I don't feel them. Does it mean that they're not out there happening? No, it doesn't. But they're not out there happening in my reality, and I'm certainly not making more of them. I'm not only not making them more for me, I'm not making more of them for anybody. And if you're familiar with Ho'oponopono, Dr. Len, who I was very honored to know and study with personally, is a Hawaiian shaman. And Ho'oponopono seems like a very simple process. But as manifestors, we select the reality that we want. So if everything's already created, are you really a creator? Not really, but you are a manifester. What's the difference? Manifesting means to make appear to your senses or make appear to your eyes. So if it appears to your eyes, then you see the money in your bank account. If it appears to your senses, then you feel peace and confidence. If it appears to your in your reality, you go to the doctor and they say you're cancer free. Okay. However, if you are so obsessed and so concerned and full of anxiety and full of worry, and you cannot pull your emotional body and how you feel, and you cannot pull your mind because your thoughts create things, become things, okay? And you cannot focus long enough, consistently, all the time on a magnificent obsession, then you are going to keep recreating these negative things that you have right now or you have had in the past. Don't fool yourself. Don't think, oh, I'm being a good person by going over and talking to somebody and agreeing with their sad story. You're not. I had a friend a long time ago who would stand in a group of women and somebody might say, oh, you just hate it when this happens? And oh my God, can you believe that happened? And she would say, not in my reality, not on Planet Jackie. And I remember being shocked because it wasn't polite to say that, right? And yet, do you want to be polite? Do you want to create their reality in your reality? I refuse. You may be familiar with Abraham Hicks. My partner, Chris, was studying with them. He went to their ranch in San Antonio. He went to many of their workshops. He was in a Abraham Hicks study group when I met him. And it was around just after they'd come out with Ask and It Is Given. It's a wonderful book about these principles. And the first part is all this concepts. And the second part is actual applicable, practical processes to do. And I went through a period where I listened to Abraham Hicks during my divorce nonstop because it was like infusing me with positive belief. Turn your back on it, walk away from it, don't look at it. If you don't like that feeling, turn your back on it, shut the door, walk away from it. And then you go way back into ancient scripture and ancient teachings and mystery teachings, and they say the same thing. They say, go upstairs and shut the door. They say, go outside, walk away, look at a different reality, remove your attention, and it dies. It's like something, it's like a plant. Is it growing and growing and growing and growing because you keep looking at it and worrying about it and talking about it and telling other people about it and comparing notes on it and commiserating on it? Then it's going to grow like a weed as big as possible, and it's going to be all you can see in your life. You know, there's fairy tale where I think it was Sleeping Beauty, where she was given this potion to fall asleep, and then the whole kingdom became covered in an entangled forest that grew over it. It's the same thing. You're sleeping in your own friggin' castle. You're the princess, the queen, you're the sovereign being of your reality, and you're asleep in your castle while it's being covered with tangled weeds that are growing from your negative beliefs, conditioning, and where you are putting your energy, your feeling, what you were using, the power of your imagination, your vision, your imagineering, I like that word, for. And these words do not do justice to what I'm talking about, because you could say like, oh, imagination, oh, visualization, oh, I've been there, I did that, I can't do that. Okay. This is a whole new level that you can access right now because of the state of consciousness that we're in, because nature has pulled off the barriers and everything is accelerating. Time is accelerating. People are accessing higher states of consciousness. People are accessing hell. You can see it on the world. Some people are over here, blah, blah, negative, 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 and they're manifesting the most horrific shit. And they're like, see, look, see, oh, we got to fight it. We got to control it. We got to have more rules. We got to have that. That's their reality, because they're creating more of it, because that's what they're giving their attention and their energy to. These are basic, simple laws, but they have been misunderstood and misused. And now we believe that we have to have power structures and rules and laws. And, you know, I like traffic laws. Don't get me wrong. Let's all not just try to figure out who's going through that intersection. Okay. But you get what I mean. So war begets more war. Hate begets more hate. Judgment gets more judgment. And if you judge yourself, where you've been, what you've done, that you're a failure, if you refuse to be able to believe enough, just a little bit, to step into, well, what if? What if I could have my wishes? What are my wishes? I don't even know what my wishes are. I haven't really ever been thought or told or seen somebody who got what they wanted. Everybody has been living in lack and limitation, and come from the Depression, or if you live in a country where they've suffered war, even very recently, then your family says, oh, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the universe, I don't believe in wishes, I just believe in suffering and scrimping and saving, because we have been through fucking hell, and people have. So we're not denying what was. We're just saying, okay, accept, because at the state of acceptance, your emotional body forgives. It isn't some divine thing. You don't have to work on it. You don't have to write about, oh, I got to forgive, and oh, I can't forgive, and I don't want to forgive, because what does that do? That takes you down into the story. You start going into old stories about who did what to who, and I want that person to say they're sorry, and why didn't this person do this, and I wish this had happened, or I wish I had said something different. Oh my God, you're going to get lost in that forest again. Your castle's going to be covered with the vines forever. And remember, those vines, they were so thick that when the prince finally came to seek out the princess, okay, these archetypes, right, had to fight their way through this tangled forest. However, you're inside the tangled forest, and you manifested the tangled forest. And if you've given your energy to the negativity, to the lack, to the belief that you're not good enough, or that you're too short or too small or too stupid or too fat or too whatever the hell, that you can't have what you want, and that other people get what they want, but you don't. And what a lot of my clients believe is like, well, I'm the kid on the outside of the candy store looking in, watching everybody else get what they want except for me. However, hardly anybody is getting what they want. And what we see are the people who go, I'm going to work 80, 90, 50,000 hours. I'm going to sacrifice my health, my family life, my love, my everything in order to achieve success. And that greed for more. I have to have more money, and I have to have a bigger office, and I have to have a bigger house, and I have to have the newest toaster, and I have to have all this money, and I have to be seen as a success. And then what? And then what? What do we see? Mostly you're exhausted, you're sick, you're diseased, you've lost your family, you don't have friends, because you've put all your focus into this greedy vision. And where does that greedy vision come from? Lack mentality. Massive lack mentality. If you believed, if you understood these universal laws, that every single thing you want is already created, and that you're the manifester, and like dialing into a channel on TV or dialing the right phone number to connect to the right person, once you get that, you dial into that reality, and that reality is yours. Nobody else can take it away except you. Have you ever touched it? Oh my gosh, that was delicious. And then something creeped in and said, oh, what if I don't get to keep it? I have achieved so many things in my life that it's crazy. And I have gone out and done the work hard and do it despite my doubts. And I've gone against my belief systems in terms of that I didn't believe I was good enough, but I was going to work friggin' hard, because what was my underlying motivation? I wanted to be good enough in other people's eyes. I wanted to please my parents. I wanted their approval. And then I just applied that out there, okay, across the board. And when we are separated from love and approval, we're always seeking it. This is the childhood wound that everybody is moving through, that we've all completed. I want you to know that you came into this life with a lot of heavy shit. You decided to come to heal a lot of lives, a lot of contracts, a lot of agreements that say, I can't speak up, it's not safe. I can't have money, it's not safe. I can't express myself, it's not safe. I can't be intuitive, it's not safe. I can't be joyful, it's not safe. Okay? And then you've manifested this life. Perhaps you've had nice times and perhaps you've had difficult times. That's usually the case. Now, all of that doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean you can't have what you want. But what do you believe about what has happened to you? What power are you giving it? And how are you letting it stay with you? You're dragging it around. You're carrying it with you. It's on top of your head. It's burdening you here. Well, I finally realized after decades of going deeper and deeper and deeper into what's underneath that. What is that belief? What is a belief? How do I rewire my mind? I've spent 5 years becoming a master level hypnotherapist. What's underneath that energy? Energy medicine, animal communication, shamanic work. I became a homeopathic doctor. Why? Because it's vibrational medicine. Why does something that literally is taken from a substance that can kill you, like arnica, and turned into a substance that doesn't have any more physical substance, only the essence of that thing. And essence is a consciousness, okay? And it heals things. How could this be? This absolutely fascinated me. I went deeper and deeper into the science, deeper and deeper into the mystery, deeper and deeper to say, what? And then I wanted to apply it to my life. I didn't want to have a big pile of knowledge on my head. I didn't want to keep going to these channels and have people showing up saying every single month, why is this the same? Why do I have fungus on my toe? I thought, oh my God, could we start applying this to our lives? And I noticed that the spiritual groups I was going to, this was a long time ago, okay? Everybody was just showing up, complaining, showing up, talking about their same mundane, simple little problems. And I had an epiphany one day. And I went home and I said, you know what? Going to somebody else, to an outside authority, is great to learn, to research, to get advice, to learn things I don't know. Then I have to sift through that information, discover what is optimal for me right now, and apply it to my life, integrate it into my thinking, change my habits, change my belief, change my way of being in the world. And then something happens. So if you've ever done what I did and work really hard towards something and achieve it, and then maybe it lasted a few years, a few months, decades, I don't know, and then it went away. That was my experience. So I kept going underneath. Well, what the hell happened there? Why did I lose everything in my divorce? I owned 80 properties, $1 million home. I had a thriving business, and I wanted a divorce, and everything fell apart. I lost everything. You name it, it was gone. I had no properties. I was homeless. I got disowned by my mother, everything. And I'm doing prayer circles for my husband, who was pissed off because I wanted out and was attacking my business and not letting me collect any money. And I had $10 a week to feed my children, and I was sweating all night in bed, getting up to go to the bathroom, and I had to bring a towel back to bed because I was just sweating if I was sleeping over the fear. What was I going to do? What was I going to do? This was like a shamanic vision quest. This was like an initiation in a mystery school where you're like, hey, jump in there. I'm not going to tell you what's in there. And you got to go swim, hold your breath, swim through the dark. Alligators are there. Go between all this maze. And if you happen to come out the other side, yay, we'll be there to tell you way to go. That's what this was. These experiences in life are opportunities. When my daughter died, she came back to talk to us through different interesting people. My husband was working in a hospital at the time, and a janitor walked up to him and said, you have an angel over your shoulder. And he said, oh, well, that's probably my daughter who died recently. And she looked and she said, yeah, it is. And she wants you to know she's okay. And everything's an opportunity. Don't worry. She came back and told us that through 3 different people. It became the header of my website because during my divorce, I had no way of making money. And I met Chris, my soulmate, who I'm still with. This is 20 years ago. And he said, why don't I make you a website? That's what he did. And he said, then you can do your spiritual work and see if you can make some money while this shit be going down over here. Okay. So he came to me when I was a multimillionaire, and he stayed with me through losing everything and going through bankruptcy and being homeless. And now we live a life of bliss. I live on the beach. I own a home on the beach. It's always been my dream. I did not succeed at this because I'm a millionaire. I did not succeed at this because I went out and achieved ego success. I achieved this. I didn't. I selected this through walking through my pain and looking at what was the underlying energy creating what happened. Did I have to go through the divorce? Well, you could say yes, because it wasn't an optimal relationship for me to stay in. And there were a lot of reasons. And I was starting to get physically ill. And I knew for a long time, this is not good. I didn't want to upset the children. I didn't want to upset him. I love him. I still love him. I just didn't want to be with him. It wasn't a good match. I said, look, neither of us are happy. Don't you want to go out and be with somebody who's super thrilled to be with you? Don't you deserve to be with somebody who's excited to see you and make love to you every day? I don't want anything to do with you. Okay. So it was finally forced on me because I was getting ill, because I was doing my spiritual work, because I had a powerful spiritual friend who would tell me, honey, when are you going to do it? I didn't want to do it because people got upset, and they sure the hell did. And everything fell apart in a big fucking epic way. Now, I could sit and feel sorry for myself that my daughter died and I lost all my money and my mom disowned me and so on and so forth. And I just want to let you know, I have a very harmonious relationship now with my mother and father. And there was a long journey to come back. And I can look at all of those things, including my first business having to close at the end of the 80s because everybody went bankrupt and the economy crashed. And I had no clue that people didn't pay their bills. So I was like, but I provided my stuff. I had a fashion design business, went to $1 million the first year, was super successful for 3.5 years. And then boom, everybody went bankrupt. Nobody paid me. And I was standing there going, I put all the money back into my business and I was living off credit cards. Suddenly I had nothing but debt. I didn't understand what to do with this. I didn't understand spiritual laws. I had nowhere to turn. It was the first giant deconstruction of my life. I look back at that as one of the best things that had ever happened to me, because what did it do? It stopped me from trying to achieve success in the way we're talking about, trying to please my parents, trying to be good enough, trying to have this external proof for everyone else so that they would think, oh, I'm successful, I'm likable, I'm good enough. So when that happened, I had no beliefs anymore. I didn't know what to do. I just knew, well, I worked hard and did what everybody told me, and that didn't really work out. So I wanted to find something different. I found a book about channeling dolphins from another planet. I didn't even know what the frig channeling was. I'd never heard of meditation. I didn't know any spirituality. I didn't even have any religious upbringing. Very, very basic little bit, nothing really. And so I was wandering in the universe. I was just awash in this space full of grief, self-judgment, thought I was the worst person in the world. And then I found something. And I started to build a belief system. And I built the belief system. I learned to meditate, and I started to do energy work, and I started to work with animals, and I started to learn energy medicine and Tellington touch and animal communication and Rife radionics and really deep energy medicine and psychometry and pendulum and all of these amazing things. And fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I became a hypnotherapist. I became a homeopath. I was learning and achieving and all of these things. And then after 8 years of trying to get pregnant, I had a beautiful daughter named Jordan Ann, and she died. And when she died, everything fell apart again. I was mad at God. I was mad at the universe. I was mad at everything. I go, well, that didn't work either. That was a bunch of bullshit too. And all those beliefs died in 1 minute. Now, I can't tell you that I'm happy my daughter died, but over a period of time, I had to make a choice literally every day. Did I want to take another breath? Did I want to stay in my body? Did I want to stay alive? There were many times I sat in the field and I said, just take me. I don't want to be here. When I woke up, the grief was too big. The sadness was too big. All my wishes and my dreams were taken away. I couldn't handle it, the pain. And one day a book fell off the shelf and I opened it up and it said some cliche thing like, there's nothing you can't handle, or you're never walking alone. And I went, oh, for God's sakes. And I threw the book back on the shelf, and I thought, oh, that's really what I need right now is some dumbass cliche. And you know what? That was like a seed in the garden of my mind. And that seed in my mind kept telling me, really? It was like a tiny crack, a tiny light that started to come through the window. Really? I can handle this? I have the strength to. Nothing happens to you that you can't handle. Nothing happens to me that I don't already have the equipment for, that I don't already know how to manage. That's amazing. And that was the thread that led me to Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, which became my lifeline. I didn't believe a single affirmation, but I learned them all, and I said them nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. I didn't understand that there were other elements to manifesting. But saying the words was enough at the time to keep me alive. And then that led me to other things. And the other things led me to other truths. And I started to surrender being the victim and being the sad one and believing that all these things I had done were bad and wrong and a failure. Instead, I started to see what a gift they were. And when Jordan came back and told me everything's an opportunity, it changed everything for me. I started to look back at these things that had happened to me and went, those are an opportunity. What a different way of seeing things. Then I got into the shamanic world and initiations, and you go through a lot of pain. You go through a lot of really difficult things. You face your fears. You go into that cave that you fear, right? You go through journeys that you travel to places and you face your demons, so to speak, and you go through the hero's journey and you go into your shadows. And you start to realize that everything is already here. And when everything is already here, then you can select, you can choose. And if that reality is already here, then you don't have to wait for it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to struggle for it. And you damn sure don't have to sacrifice. So another truth that we were given is that somehow all of our suffering and all of our putting ourselves last and all of our putting everybody else first and all of our, giving all of our money away. I have students who still think that they're being a good person by giving all their money away and then struggling and not having any money for themselves and living in this constant state of anxiety and lack. Exactly how is that helping anyone? It's some bizarro religious truth that if you give all your shit away, you'll someday reach nirvana after you die and maybe get a gift. Come on. You're not here to suffer. You're not here to be punished. You're not here to continue on this karmic wheel of hell. Okay? Karma is simply the understanding that I create my reality. I choose what manifests for me. And if I keep dragging these old beliefs, these old wounds, these old fears that I can't have, that I can't believe, that there'll be some bad consequences if I'm too happy, if I'm too successful, if I'm too joyful, if I'm too whatever, or that if I get what I want, it'll be taken away. So some of the beliefs that I discovered along the way was that I believed that someone outside of me, i.e. my family initially, because that's the child mind, they decide whether I get to have what I want. Well, we all know that experience because when you're a child, you don't have power, you don't have a car, and you don't have any money. So when you want something, you have to say, I want that. And somebody else gets to say no. Or somebody else gets to say, well, you can't have it, or you can have it after you do this. Or maybe if you're good, you can have it. And what does be good mean? It's somebody else's opinion of what they want you to do. So suddenly we're now being little trained monkeys jumping through hoops to please everyone else, trying to figure out what they want. And we're not living our own life. We're living someone else's life. And then we wonder why we can't have our wishes, or we don't know what they are, or we don't believe we can have what we want, or we don't even know how to be happy. So what I'm inviting you to do is step out of all of that. Whatever your story is, there's my story. Okay. When my mother disowned me, it was such an empowering experience. I didn't like it. I felt abandoned. I was full of terror. I was full of fear. I was full of self-judgment, but I had to pull on my big girl panties and deal with it because I was taking care of 2 children and I didn't even know how to feed them. So it wasn't like I had the luxury of laying around feeling sorry for myself, continuing to choose that. And I had a spiritual business. I had a healing business. And I'm like, holy shit, look at me. So I threw myself into my work, and I threw myself into how and who and what am I and where is the mindset and where is the belief and how do I rewire that? And I started to learn how to rewire my mind. I started to learn how to find those emotions that were creating blocks, that were creating beliefs, that were recreating karma over and over again. That why was I attracting this drama, this trauma, this loss, this lack? Who was I being? Where was my consciousness? How did I change my consciousness? How does the divine feminine and masculine work together? What the hell are they? How do I balance them when the whole world's out of balance? How do I impress upon the divine mother or the subconscious what I want? Because she will birth and give me anything I want. And right now she's giving me this shit. Well, there must be something wrong with me. I clearly didn't do it right, or somebody else gets to decide. So when I discovered deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper beliefs that I was carrying that were continuing to sabotage, and I was feeling better and, having more success and, things get better, right? You turn the volume down on all of that story, and you keep finding it. You keep finding it. So you're not on a journey that's like, oh, I did it yesterday. And why isn't my life perfect today? Well, that's the biggest self-sabotage in the world. Where's the proof? Oh, I didn't see it, so it didn't work. You can't see it until you embody it, until you become it, until you feel it with every fiber of your being non-stop. You need to brainwash yourself. You need to infuse yourself. You need to live in the wishes fulfilled completely. You need to manifest from the inside out. You need to be in the world where you are happy, joyful, healthy. You need it in the world when you're playing with the people you love, when you're having ecstatic orgasms with your soulmate, when you're going to higher states of consciousness, when you're singing on stage, when you're writing that play, when you're enjoying your life, when you're living on the beach. You need to go into it. I didn't have the money to buy this house. I didn't even want to buy a house because I'd lost so many properties during my divorce era. I walked away from that whole era and said, I don't want anything ever again. I don't want to own a property. I don't even want money. And I didn't even realize the degree to which I had decided that and embedded that belief within me. But you bet your ass it was manifesting for me. I had nothing. We got rid of everything and ran away and started to travel the world. And I ended up here in Mexico with $14 a day to live off of. I had a business. I had set everything up perfectly to be fed clients. Oh, I was on stages. And it turns out the man that I partnered with was a con man. And everybody knew it, but nobody said anything to me. And then they started to tell me, but after I had already figured it out for myself. That felt like a massive betrayal, a massive abandonment. I could not believe the level of commitment that I had thrown myself into for that. Then I kept going and I set up all my contacts and I set up all my resources. And before I left, I went and spoke at a retreat and was sabotaged at the level of epicness right before I got on stage to speak to everybody at this retreat. Completely like somebody just cut your legs off, made you fall down, beat you in front of everybody and said, don't hire this person. It was unbelievable. Chris was cursed by some crazy black magic person and was covered in these things that look like something from a fairy tale. He couldn't even walk. He had to have somebody take him in a wheelchair to the plane at the airport because he was covered in these things. We had to go through all kinds of healing. And one of my very dear friends and clients who's super psychic and understands all of this black magic stuff went and was like, oh, this is really intense stuff. You were attacked really badly. So all of these things manifest. Why? Do I dwell on all of that stuff or do I live in my bliss every day? You bet your ass I live in my bliss every day. Now, do these things come up? Yeah, a little bit. Of course. Then I go deeper and I invite them. Ooh, there you are. I'm so glad I found you. Thank you for showing up. Poor girl in my head. Poor girl here. Doubt wanting to come up. But I can tell you this summer, I had 3 surgeries. I couldn't walk on the beach. I could barely see for 6 weeks. I haven't been able to do all the things I love, and I lived through every moment of it in bliss. I used that time to go deep. I spent 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 hours at a time living in the realm of imagination. going into meditation, walking in meditation, accessing realms of higher consciousness, infusing myself, downloading non-stop the truths of the ancients, the truths of infallible laws of the universe, the truths that manifest wishes fulfilled. And there is absolutely nothing to stop you from doing the same thing. Now, do you have 12 hours a day? Probably not. Okay. I'm telling you that the infusion is the key. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's that you are committed to do it. So what's going to happen is that you are in an accelerated path right now. The year of the dragon is a building year. It's a power year. Lots of building and power and prosperity. And the masculine energy of this year is I will build you what you want. But you are the divine feminine that has to know what you want to express inside of it. So are you going to enter into this incredible spiritual structure that's being built for you? And it's being built for you based on what you think and what you feel. So is that a house you want? Is that a castle you want? Or is it a tangled mess? Or is it a homeless hut? Or is it a piece of shit? Or is it back in the day when you didn't have anything, or everything was taken from you, or you were outcast, or you were blamed, or you were ridiculed? There is such a deep fear within us of retribution for wanting what we want, having what we want, loving what we want, enjoying what we want, not fitting in. Who the fuck cares? Okay. I honestly just give it up, because if you keep trying to live everybody else's life, you're never going to have your wishes. You're not even going to know why you came here. You're not even going to understand the level of power and magnificence, the level of the universe that you are a part of. This client I had the other day, we went and did a soul lineage session. In those sessions, we go into your timeline, we go into your life, we go into your soul, we go into all this infinite field, and we're shown what's optimal at this time. And for her, a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of type A personality, working through it, years of crying, years of processing, years of mother stuff, years of all this stuff. She's in a much better place than she was, but this is still persistent within her because it's a habit. That's very common. So this was like, I am so ready for that next level. Okay, let's go see. Well, not only did we see a life, we saw a part of her that is supernatural, that is divine, that lived on this planet for 101 lives, and showed her that every one of those lives included some form of suffering, a young death, a poisoning, a this, a that, or whatever. And all she feels is absolute love and reverence for every life she had. She loved the sweet and the sour. She loved the birth and the pain, the birth and the beauty. She loved everything. She didn't judge any of it as bad. It was just an experience. And she was standing in the rain in a stone circle, and the storm pouring, and the lightning, and waiting for this person now, this her now in this life to show up, because they had a spiritual appointment. And when this her showed up, we showed up. There was this connection and this reverence and this love and this union that happened, and this understanding of this incredibly enormous, magnificent spiritual purpose and mission, way beyond her little type A world. Oh, what if this isn't perfect? What if I don't do that? Why can't I do this? It's not my fault. I don't want to be blamed. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're stuck in: littleness, mundaneness. We need to step into the magic. We need to step into the magnificence, because I can promise you anything that you've experienced, touched, imagined to this point is absolutely nowhere near the magnificence that you are designed to be and become. So how can your wishes become fulfilled? How can you embrace all of this? Even if you like, well, but I can't do your retreat, or I can't go to your event, or I can't afford this, and I can't that, and this person doesn't like me doing this, and I don't have the money, and I don't have the time, and I have children, and I have a dog. Okay, create more of that. That's your choice. And I'm not being rude, I'm being honest. I want you to understand the difference. Because some people think, well, I'm just going to tell you how I feel and dump all my emotional crap all over you. I'm just being honest. No, you're not. You're being completely out of control and dumping your emotional shit and spraying it all over everybody else. But that's what we were all taught. Just bleh, puke it out, blame everybody, tell everybody to behave the way you want them to, so you feel good. But ever notice that everybody won't behave the way that makes you feel good? Everybody doesn't operate that way. And whenever you please somebody, it's only for a little bit of time. And pretty soon they're not pleased. And then it's something else. It's a never-ending wheel of chasing. But when you come into your own reality, when you realize I am that I am, when you realize you are the God, you are the source, you are every divine being you've ever given your power away to outside of you, there is no such being. Even the Bible says, I am that I am, not I am Jesus is better than you. I am God is better than you. You are God and you are Jesus and you are Mary and you are the divine and you are whatever being you've given your power to. You are it. And that might, oh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, great. Then let all your fears and your traditions and your superstitions take over. And when you're ready to know the truth and come back and step into your power, give me a call. Because in the meantime, I want a community of people who are like, yeah, let's make this happen now. Let's find the truth. Let's keep stepping. We do not judge ourselves. We do not care if that fear came up and took us down last night and we had a bad dream or we had a rough night feeling fear or anxiety. It's okay. You get up again and you come back into the truth. And you get up again and you come back into the truth. You come back into my arms. You go back into the arms of the beloved. You know that the divine feminine is the subconscious. It is where you go when you're in a meditation or in prayer or shamanic journey, any of that out of the consciousness. Okay, consciousness right now, right here, you listening to me is masculine divine energy. All right, it is focused. It is I want this. Then you go to sleep, to meditation, to prayer, and what you are feeling and what you are thinking is what you are giving. It is no different than a woman being impregnated and making a baby. She cannot get a sperm into her egg and then as it is forming in her womb decide, oh, I really don't want a blonde, blue-eyed child. I want a black child, okay? You can't change that seed. It is what it is, but you can go get a different seed if you want. You can create a different seed if you want. You can plant a different seed in the garden of your mind if you want. You can nurture a different seed, but you cannot change what you are giving once you have given it. So when you get up during the day and what you're living right now is the residual, is the manifestation of who you have been. So you have to be patient, but not forever. You have to understand that the laws of the universe are telling you, okay, that your life doesn't look perfect right now, but you have to not believe your senses. You have to turn your back on it and say, oh, okay, I still don't have any money in my bank account. I still want to go on Nan's retreat, but I don't have the money. I'm going to turn my back on that reality because there's an infinite number of universes and timelines where I do have the money. In fact, I have been to the retreat and I've been to the retreat and I've done it. And if I tune into that future me and I talk with that person and I manifest from there back to me, then I'm feeling it. I'm being it. I'm knowing that it exists and I understand how I got there. Well, isn't that a better way to live your life? Then I'm standing here. What I want is over there. I don't know how to get it. Well, first I have to figure this out. And then there's this problem, that problem, this person, that time, people, issues, money, blah, blah, blah. What are you grabbing and throwing in front of your wishes? What are you grabbing and putting in front of you and between you? What do you believe? What do you see? What are you giving your power to? You are not sovereign. That's just the bottom line. Okay? Stepping out of the story of asking anyone else to give you permission to be who you want to be, to wait for them to agree, to wait for them to apologize, wait to them to give you the money is not the way to manifest your reality. Now, it doesn't mean you have to blame anybody or have a confrontation with anybody. You do have to start to speak up to yourself. You do have to start to act different. You do have to interrupt your patterns, and that is part of the process. So this is a process of becoming and shifting out of old patterns and habits, understanding that those patterns and habits will rear their head again and again. They'll get softer, they'll get louder, you'll have breakthroughs, you'll have quantum leaps, you'll have slow times when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, and then bam, suddenly the doors are wide open. This is the process. You have to stay in the process. You cannot give up so easily. People don't have resilience now. They're like, well, I meditated 3 times or I listened to the meditation, but my life didn't change. Okay. Let's see where it's missing. Which step are you missing? Which place are you giving your power up to? What belief in you can't have, I don't know, are you dragging with you that's poisoning the manifestation of what you're going for? And yes, it is an incredible say. Not in my world. All right. Yeah. I honestly, it's in my first book, which is called Already Rich, which is brilliant because we are already whatever we want to be. It is already there. And it's a matter of selecting it, choosing it, and then choosing it again and choosing it again, and then putting yourself in it and seeing yourself in it and feeling yourself in it. If you want to go on a retreat, if you want to be in a class, if you want to be with your soulmate, you have to put yourself there. And you have to say, I'm imagining, I'm feeling, I'm thinking like the person that has it. And that is unequivocal. You cannot get by that. You cannot go, I'm poor, I'm poor, I'm poor. And if I do this magical process, I'll suddenly be rich. Oh my God, it didn't work, or it worked for a day and now it's gone. If you don't change the cause, the effects can't change. You're the cause. You go to the divine and you say, here's what I want. And you do that by what you think and what you feel and who you are being. So you can't go, well, in my private time, I'm really happy and I'm blissful. I'm talking to Mary. I'm talking to Kuan Yin. I'm talking to the trees. I believe in the fairies. I feel really great. And then I'm going to go in my life and I'm going to act like a slave. I'm going to act like that I don't speak up. I do what everybody else wants. I don't want people to be upset with me. You can't be one thing and expect something else. And if you are spending 1 hour a day being the happy, blissful person, believing it, and 23 hours, it took me a minute there to figure out how many hours are in a day, and 23 hours a day being all this other stuff and feeling the pain and feeling the guilt in your stomach and feeling the worry that it may not happen and being anxious that, oh, I'm trying this, but what if it doesn't work? It's okay to go in and out of that, in and out of that, in and out of that, in and out of that. But you have to be moving towards the truth. What I want to do is invite you to an incredible, incredible class. Now, I'm going to be doing this live when I'm in Glastonbury. Yes, I have a retreat. Please come to my retreat. Please ask me about getting to my retreat. I can promise you that there is almost no way you can't manifest a retreat if you really want it. There is a way. I know it. I have homeless people who've come to my retreats that cost $3,000 to $5,000. Okay. And they've manifested it over and over and over. I no longer think that me telling people there's a way if you want it is a hopeful wish, because I can see. Okay. That's one of the things that I've developed, I've cleared, and is one of my talents. I don't know what you want to call it, is I see your energy. I see your magnificence. I see your possibility. I see what is in your field. And when I work with you deeper and I'm invited deeper into your world, I can see how to help you get there. So if you want to come to that retreat, please do. These retreats take you out of your reality, which is really what you need. Right? Out of your mundane world, out of your habits, out of everything that's normal, keeping you inside that same container. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. Even Joe Dispenza says that, and people go to his retreats, heal cancer in 7 days, and proved by doctors. Okay. Amazing shit is happening when you get out of your reality. However, I want to invite you to a class that I'm doing also in Glastonbury. It's a 2-day class. It's going to be at the Goddess House, and it's called Wishes Fulfilled, Prosperity, Manifestation, Magic. And I am going to reveal the deeper truths of these things that in a practical way, in a way that you can understand. We're going to identify your patterns. We're going to find your wishes. We're going to see where the gap is within you. And we're going to do deep shamanic, soul-changing journeys that will take you out of the reality you have, change your DNA, change the habits within your body and your mind, change you on multidimensional levels. So it'll feed your logical mind so you know what to do and you have practical tools to go into the world and continue the manifestation process. It's also going to take you deep into the shamanic journey, deep into the change at that soul level, deep into the change of the belief system that is holding on to one reality. Whether you change overnight or you change in 3 days or you change in 3 months or you change in 3 years, I don't know. Does it really matter if you're moving towards your wishes fulfilled? If you're becoming empowered and embodied? If you're becoming the person that can imagine if it took you 3 years, okay, to fully embrace and embody what I'm teaching. But after that, you spent the rest of your life 100% knowing I am the manifester of my reality. I can manifest everything 24/7. I think, I feel, I know, I have, I'm in joy, I'm in bliss. I know that my thoughts and my actions are being guided by the divine. I know that my feet are being guided on the path. I don't even have to have effort towards it. I just have to be what I want to be. I have to be aware of it. I have to become the consciousness of it. I have to embody the feeling of it. I have to have the thoughts of it. And I have to immerse myself in that in such a way that it cannot not reveal itself. Because that's the thing. These are infallible laws. Infallible. They will not fail. They're laws. And if you don't follow them, you will not manifest what you want, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you have suffered, no matter how much you think that well, I've given up everything to everybody my whole life. Isn't it my turn yet? I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but none of that has any power in spirit. The ancients used to say that the divine doesn't respect people, is no respecter of people or something like that. And I thought, wow, that's kind of rude, but interesting. And what that means is that it doesn't care what you think. It cares who you are. It doesn't care what you want. It cares who you are being. It only listens to you and what you truly are being, feeling, thinking, and embodying. That's what it can respond to. It cannot respond to, I really want this. I wish I had this. When am I going to have this? It thinks stupid. It just doesn't get it. It's like speaking a language and somebody just looks at you and like, no clue what you're saying, but thanks for sharing. So there's these laws that you need to embody in a way that is practical, that is real now, that is in a way that you cannot walk away from, that you can keep coming back to. Now, if you can't get to Glastonbury for this 2-day, and it's different than my retreat, it's a few days before the full retreat happens, so you're more than welcome to come to both. I'm going to live stream it and I'm going to record it. So you can join either live or you can join live stream or you can join and get the videos. And you will have the videos for life. It's not one of these, you can have the videos for 3 days and then I take them away. So what I want you to do is to understand that the truth is within you and that you are this, that you have touched this, you have manifested everything in your reality right now. You're a kick-ass manifester. I had a client once who had manifested $78,000 in debt. She was overwhelmed with the debt. She really couldn't believe she'd manifested the debt. She had embodied a lot of the laws of attraction, a lot of the teachings. This was at the time that The Secret came out, and we were having our little mastermind group, and we're talking about these laws, and we're figuring them out, and we're trying to figure out how to embody them. And what happens is that there we are, and she says, okay, I got to tell you guys the truth. I need your help. I have $78,000 in debt. And she's sitting in a big house that she bought. She's put up, I don't know, $50,000 in fences. She bought horses. She's just keeps spending all this money. She got a little bit of money and she spent it, and then she spent more, and then she spent more, and she spent more, because she kept thinking, well, I know these laws of attraction now, and if I just think about it, it will happen. Well, we probably all have been there. I call it the new age, when we started to believe and understand, wow, positive thinking does have some power. It does. Affirmations, they have a little bit of power. They help my mind focus. Then we've got thoughts become things. Oh, that's a very interesting teaching. Oh, then there was, you have to feel it too. Okay, good. However, all of these things separate in our dense consciousness back then, we're not able to connect in a way. And so a lot of what we were doing was going out and acting on what we want, thinking that it was act as if. That was a common phrase back then, act as if. I was like, well, how do I act as if I don't have the money? How do I spend the money? Oh, I want to go have a glamorous dinner with a tiara and expensive wine. So do I just go do it even though I don't have the money and then it will happen? Okay, this is where there's a disconnect. And this is what I want to bring you through that gap. Because the truth is there is no gap between you and what you want. It is you. It's your truth. It's your desires. It's the true desires. But we get tripped up by the ego. Well, if I had that money, then I would be okay, because then I could do what I want and I could still please these people over here. Okay. Now, I want to show you something. Let me see here. Bobby doo Bobby. We kind of been going and having a great time, and I want to share this with you in a way that comes into some reality. So I'm going to be doing a challenge sometime in the next week or two. Watch out. I'm going to be doing a prosperity magic challenge. I want to bring more of these concepts to you. Today was bringing you into an inspired space to let you know that there is something there that you've been missing and that you are the creator of your reality. So absolutely everything in your reality is based on you. Nobody else can create it. Nobody else is in your mind choosing what it means, what you think, what you do, how you act. And you may feel like, oh, all the world is outside of you, buffeting you about. You may feel like, I don't have control over these people. If that happens, they're being mean to me. I didn't choose it. I didn't want it, whatever. I know how that feels. Believe me. However, that's handing your power away. And when you hand your power away, you are saying, that's the reason I don't have what I want. That person, what they did to me, that I didn't get the education I want. I don't know the right people. I don't know how to make a website. Okay. There is nothing being kept away from you. And the how is not what you need to worry about. Do you have to take action? Damn straight. Is it a struggle sometimes? Is it painful sometimes? Is it hard sometimes? Yes, because of what we believe, not because it's hard. If we could just, like when my daughter died, every belief died. And I'm like, well, now what do I do? Because guess what I did? I went into my new spiritual beliefs with the same attitude and beliefs and actions underneath that I had to work hard and I had to do it perfect. And if I did it perfect and I meditated perfect and I did it all right, then nothing bad would happen to me again. And then my daughter dies. And not only did I not believe in anything and all my beliefs died in a second, but I said, well, shit, that didn't work. And what was that? That was like walking through a new door of revelation. Once I got past the grief, I had to look underneath it. What did I do? Well, I handed my power over to these magical things. Now, do I believe in spiritual processes? Yes. Do I believe in meditation? Do I believe in visualization? Do I believe in mystery schools? Oh, yes. However, how are you doing them? Are you dragging your belief that you did it right? You didn't do it right. How do I do it? Are you going, okay, that was nice, but now immediately coming out of having an epic spiritual experience that gave you, that let you touch what you really want, the first thing you say is, but will it last? But what if it doesn't work? What if it's a Band-Aid? What if I go back to it? But how do I do it? But is it going to change? Do you see what you just did? You just touched source. You touched the infinite. You touched your wishes. And then you turned your back on them and went back into the doubt and the lack and said, but how? Guess what the how is? Not our fucking business. I can tell you, how did I manifest this house? It doesn't matter how I manifested the house to you. All I can tell you is I suddenly felt like, oh, I do want a house again. I could have a house again. Well, if I really want that, I better start seeing it. I knew the principles. And my daughter triggered me and said, well, why don't you just get a little shack on the beach? Can't you just get something where you don't have to keep moving around and renting and so on and so forth? And I was like, I'm living on the beach. I'm renting. I can afford it. I live someplace that I can afford, thank God. And yet I'm having to move Chris around and he had a seizure and all this stuff's happening. And it was the inspiration. It was the decision. It was the choice to finally say, oh, guess what? I think I do want that. And I'm going to give it my attention. So what did I do? Every single day in the morning and night, I walked onto the beach because I was already living at the beach. So I had manifested living at the beach. I went from manifesting living 3 hours from the beach to living 8-minute drive to the beach to living a 3-minute or 5-minute walk to the beach to manifest living on the beach, or where I could see the beach, which was about another 5-minute walk, but I could see the beach, to manifesting living on the beach. And yet it had all these things that went with it. I had to move every certain number of months because people wanted to use their house because it's a very seasonal place that I live. So What was it? I was manifesting my dream in stages, and those stages were happening because of my belief system. Okay. And I can look back now and say, oh, wow, I could have jumped directly to this, but I don't get upset about that because the process led me here. I'm really happy about that. The process taught me all of the pitfalls, all of the reasons, and I got to work through that process. And now I can walk you through that process. And now I can teach people. And now I can see that in other people. And now I know where to put my energy. So this house manifested. I didn't know how. I didn't have any credit. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any clue what to do, but I didn't worry about it. I stood on the beach and I looked up and down the beach and I said, oh, I have my house now. This is what it feels like. I'm walking out of my house. I'm seeing the sunrise from my house. I'm walking out and I'm going swimming every day from my own house. Oh, I have a hot water heater. Most of the beach houses here don't have hot water heaters. Oh my gosh, if I had my own house, I would have this, I would have that, I would have this, I would have that. And I would look up and down the beach and then I would walk down the beach and I would say, maybe that house could be mine. Maybe that house could be mine. I wonder if that house could be mine. And I was renting a house and I asked the lady suddenly for no reason whatsoever. I sent her a text message and I said, is your house for sale? And she said, wow, actually we have been thinking about selling it. How weird is that? Now, again, I had no idea how, literally no idea how. I had to step into the manifestation of it. Well, pretty soon I was like, well, you know what? If I want a house on the beach, maybe I better start looking at what's actually available and get some clue of reality. So I started looking online. Then I started contacting realtors. None of the realtors really understood what I wanted because they kept trying to get me to look at things way far away from the beach. And I'm like, on the beach, on the beach, on the beach, dude. Well, this is close to the beach. I want it on the beach. I'm really simple. Give me something on the beach. I don't want to compromise. I am not giving a third row. Well, these are cheaper. I don't care. Give me something on the beach. I only want what I want. I was not willing to compromise. I started looking at things. I came and saw this house I live in. It had 40 dogs and 35 cats living here. There was nothing in the land but sand. There was no pool. There were no walkways. There was a lot of coconut trees and a house. The house was full of cat smell. The house didn't have air conditioners. The house had a great basic structure. And that was it. And I left going, whew, wow. Now, I used to renovate houses. So I'm an expert at seeing past cat pee and foundations that suck and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I've renovated houses from the bottom up, baby. I know how to do it. And I was like, well, probably not. I looked at a few other things and it kept coming back to me in dreams. Pretty soon I'm designing it in my head. What am I doing? I'm feeling what it would be like to live here. I'm imagining what I would do if I redesigned it. Well, I'd put a pool and I'd put walkways in. I'd have to clean this. I could renovate that. I wonder what this would cost. I'm going to talk to someone about that. I started to build the dream in my head while taking physical action, looking online, looking at things. I finally found one realtor. I liked him. He knew what was happening. I live in Mexico. I was terrified of buying property in Mexico because I'm not Mexican. What will happen? Will I get scammed? All those things came up. I worked through every fear and every anxiety by never letting up. That every morning and every night, I saw myself in a house imagined until this house took hold of me. And I knew, I kept looking at other houses and I kept saying, wow, I don't want that. This is better than that. This is better than that. And I got the kick-ass deal of a century. I came in here. I spent 6 months renovating. I put in a new kitchen. I put in a pool. It's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Got an island. I have a hot tub. I have a steam room. I have everything I wanted. It's a very simple house, okay? I'm not interested in glamour. I live at the beach. It has 1 bedroom. I have a casita. It could be a 2nd bedroom. We don't use it that way, all right? It looks really big. It's not actually. However, there's space and there's high ceilings and there's tons of windows. It's got everything I love. So what you want may be different than what you think you want. But if you don't start to embody it, to see it, imagine it, give yourself permission to spend the morning, the night, the day, the evening, the dream time, impressing upon the Divine Mother what you want. She cannot birth you the reality that you want, but she will. And she's birthing you the reality that you don't want, or the half of the reality that you want with the half of the reality you don't want. So you have it and you have the power and you are naturally it and you don't have to do anything to be worthy of having what you want. I can promise you that. Because within you is the only place that you can generate success, joy, peace, and health. but you've been trained not to believe or pursue what you want, to think you cannot have it for some external reason, those people, that people, and to sabotage or trip yourself up every day as you work hard to achieve your goals instead of using your natural power and the laws of the universal truth, abundance, divine right, and attraction. Stop trying, stop working, stop doubting, and get into the reality of your wishes fulfilled. My wishes are fulfilled. What would it feel like if this wish was fulfilled? And guess what? Then your wishes are going to change, because right now you have a lot of cravings because you feel denied, you feel unfair, you feel unworthy. Those things have to be acknowledged. You go through a phase of, like in my mastermind, I ask people, write down what you want and look at it every day. And notice that within a few days or a few weeks, you look at it and you go, I don't really want that anymore. Either you've manifested it or you've realized that it's an ego want. It's based on some craving that you had that you now realize you don't need to have. What's underneath it, and what's underneath that, and what's underneath that. So every single time that you go towards what you want, I cannot emphasize enough how powerful this is. It works. It will not fail. It is only you going back, turning your back on this instead of turning your back on your senses, turning your back on what you see, turning your back and say, well, when I see it, when it happens, when somebody else, good luck with that. Come and see me in 1,000 years when you've lived through 40 million years of pleasing everybody else and continuing going back to your doubt and not having the resilience. You've got to be strong. You have to be committed. You have to be resilient. You have to say, I'm worth it. And that's where I can help you. I can be here. I love you. I want to hold you in my arms. I want to show you that you are beloved, that you are beautiful, that no matter how many fucking times you have fell down, no matter what you believe about yourself or your body or your past or your pain or your power or your weakness, there is nothing wrong with you. I want to cry right now because I know how you can change your life. I know how profound everything in your life can be. And is it all perfect and will it be perfect tomorrow? No, it's a process. But pretty soon you're living in joy and happiness and prosperity, and you're knowing that no matter if you don't see what you want, that you are being guided with infinite little tiny thoughts and actions that you don't know. That's why the how is out of our hands. We are the Alpha and the Omega. We are the beginning and the end. We are not the middle. We are not the how, because that's the realm of magic. That's the realm of the divine. We can't in our consciousness be in our body figuring out, well, what are the 18 million ways that this could happen? Could you tell me so I can spend all my life trying to figure out which one? Could you just surrender that to the divine? Could you just trust that they're taking care of it? Because they are. Your job and my job is to be in consciousness, in feeling, in thought, in action, in deed, every day with every fiber of our being, what it is we wish to fulfill. And if you don't know what it is, just start pretending and practicing. And then the next truth will unfold. And then you'll realize, wow, I don't really want to feel that. I want to feel this. It's okay. Start where you are. You don't have to know it all, because it's absolute bullshit that you can't have it, that you have to wait for it. Turn your back on everybody else's opinion right now. Start listening to your little girl within. The light of truth that you have never been able to fully see is waiting for you to step into it. The tree of life has golden apples on it. Those golden apples are ripe and they're delicious and they're for you. They are the fruition of whatever you want. They are waiting for you. And within them are the seeds of the next divine, amazing truth that you can have. So I want you to know you can shift your consciousness right now. You can grow a new reality. You can have faith. It's like planting a seed. So I want you to prepare. Imagine if you understood that all you have been told about abundance, success, money, and worthiness, and how you truly achieve it is not true. Now, I'm going to give you a short list of the faulty education that you have to decondition. You have to be aware of it. You have to notice these patterns that want to hijack your reality, hijack your truth, hijack what you want. Okay? So I want you to leave here with some things that you can apply right now. Then I want you to sign up for this class because it's epically affordable, whether you can go there in person or not. And I want you to live the abundance that your heart yearns for. These are infallible laws of the divine. The wise, the devoted, and the powerful throughout time know how to create and have consciously and consistently used these to great effect. Now, that isn't the president of the country. That isn't the super successful pop star, although if they have achieved that level of success and maintained it, they did embody that. I'm talking about people you don't even know, who are living lives of bliss and happiness and joy, and they're manifesting everything they've ever wanted over and over and over and over forever. And once you nail this, once you get this, once you download this, once you know this, you never again doubt. And then you just live in this unfolding of like, ooh, this is fun. What else could be? Ooh, that's the next step. Ooh, the next thing. Won't it be fun when that manifested? And you're not craving and grasping and desperate for what you don't have and wanting to be free of something, because you turn your back on that prison. So sacrifice, struggle, stress are facts of life. It never produces anything except more of the same. You must always work hard. This is a false lie, and it sucks all your energy and your optimism and your energy. You must spend years of doing and working and waiting and saving and scrimping. No, no, no. Give your power to the economy. Oh, it's a bad economy, to bad news. Oh, this bad thing happened. Oh, that person's going to be elected. Oh, this negative person said that. Oh, this person told me that. It sucks. It's a down market. It's a recession. Nothing outside of you determines your success. Period. That's it. Period. But any proof that you want to pull off the shelf to say, but look at this, is you deciding that's true instead of what I just told you is true. That's your choice. That's your power. Your power is in the choice. Where do you use your will? You cannot change the circumstances. You cannot change the world. You cannot change people. You can only change yourself. You can change your state of consciousness, and then the world changes. But you're not doing it. It's actually effortless and much more fun once you get past the pain and struggle of thinking that you have to work hard. That's why these are things I need you to know. Good or ideal jobs are not out there. There's no good jobs. I have to compromise what I want. I have to compromise my time. I have to work bad shifts. I have to take less money. I have to do something I don't like to please my mom, or because the economy sucks, or because there's no jobs right now. Wrong, 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 wrong. Stop believing all of that nonsense. If everybody around you wants to live in that world, let them. You're from the wrong family. Oh, I'm from the wrong family. I'm from the wrong side of the tracks. I didn't have the right education. I don't have the right connections or experiences. Makes no difference. Makes no difference. I lived in that. Well, these people had connections. These people had money when they got out of corporate, and that's why they built their business. Well, that was the easy way to look at why they were successful. Yeah, I didn't have those things. So it took me a different path, but it wasn't why I couldn't have it. So what do you believe about it? The past determines the future. External factors determine your income and your opportunity. They never have, and they never will. Do you know what you want? Can you feel it? Can you see it? Do you believe you can have it? Well, I sincerely invite you to ask those questions and listen deeply, because a lot of times you're like, yeah, I believe it, but it didn't happen. Well, then you don't believe it. You're not embodying the consciousness of it. You're not living in the feeling of it. And you probably don't believe you can have it. If you go deeper, find that part of you and remove it. Transform it. Don't chop it off. Stop trying all the ways you've been taught, and they will only perpetuate the lack. You cannot force success from some sacrifice. Learn how to experience mind-expanding prosperity through time-tested manifesting mysteries of the ages. You can apply these now as I reveal how you can learn, download, experience practical principles and deeply healing spiritual processes. This is what we're going to do in this class. And I want you to stop waiting and permanently transmute your limiting beliefs, your lack mentality, and your unwanted physical realities. I want you to join me and gain unwavering faith and confidence that your wishes are fulfilled. So once you immerse yourself in these laws of the wisdom, as I unravel the secrets wrapped in ancient truth so you can embody and apply them in real time, you're going to come into your wishes. Money, health, love, whatever it is you want. Purpose, relationships, whatever your heart desires is a whisper from the divine truth that is already created. It is already there. That's just amazing. It's already there. It's already created for me. I just have to dial in. I just have to find the right frequency. Hoo-ha! I have to feel it and embody it and be the consciousness of it. And then it cannot avoid me. There's no way. This step-by-step experience I'm going to take you through will free you from fear and pain and past failure and limited beliefs and attachments to false ideas of yourself and prosperity. Okay? You have never imagined how powerful, simple, and freeing accepting that your wishes are already fulfilled is, because it's a fantasy. I tried it, but it didn't work. So I'm going to go back to not believing. I'm going to go back to negativity. I'm going to go back to all the people who want to keep telling me it can't happen, and I'm going to live in their reality. I don't want to live in that reality. I suggest you don't either. I'm going to be here to take you on journeys beyond time and space. That's what I do. I'm going to use my mystery school and shamanic healing powers to download new mindsets and belief systems into your body and your mind, and to show you how to live and think and dream in a way that you are free from struggle, free from sacrifice, free from the burdens of the past. You are not creating that shit again. This is the key to your freedom and your success. I can see your truth. I can see your magnificence. I can see your blocks. I can see your power. Once you're free of the false ideas of how to create success and happiness, you will be able to unleash your creative dream and weave the life your soul intended. So I want to invite you to this amazing experience with me. And I want to share, again, one more quick thing here. I know we've been here for a while. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope this has inspired you. I hope that my intensity has infused you with a knowing, with confidence. Okay. I have been through all this shit. I have lost and made and been to the ups and downs and here and there, and have gone to the corners of the universe to discover this. And I want to take you through the easy path. Don't you love her? I just love her. Chris made my artwork for me. So this is called Wishes Fulfilled Prosperity Manifesting Magic. This is the Wishes Fulfilled workshop, where I'm going to teach you the sacred mysteries of prosperity, the divine laws of magic and manifestation. It's live and in person or on LiveStream. Everybody gets the videos after. So if you can't attend live in either way, you still want to sign up, and it's on sale right now. Really early bird discount through the 15th of September. And then there's still another sale until the end of September. So the sooner you sign up, the better. And there's a bunch of bonuses. I want you to embody divine truth and manifest health, wealth, love, success, confidence, peace, and joy. I'm going to bring you into a world of infallible divine laws of manifesting that the wise and initiated have used throughout time to create their success consciously and consistently. So the dates are there. If you go to this page, and I think I put it up there for you, it's nanakasha.com/magic3, and I'll have it down below if it isn't there now, where you're going to experience mind-expanding ancient prosperity mysteries. I'm going to reveal practical principles and deeply healing spiritual processes. So I like to balance both sides of you. I need to give you the understanding and the knowledge, and then I need to take you through the experience, and then I need to transform your energy field, and I need to magically, what I mean by that is in the higher realms, bring your consciousness into alignment with the divinity that you are. This is going to permanently transmute limiting beliefs, lack mentality, unwanted physical realities, so you can gain that unwavering faith. I want your wishes to come true. I want you to understand that your heart is not insane, wanting something, but trying to drive you crazy, okay? So you'll be armed with the infallible, powerful laws of abundance. You're going to be awakened into the truth that's been kept for the powerful and the mystery initiates. And don't fool yourself. People of great power understand this stuff. Governments understand this stuff, and they use it to keep power away from people so that you do what they want the same way that everybody wants you to do what they want. Now, I'm not saying everybody has an evil agenda, but it's just the way that everybody's been conditioned. So if you go to the website, you can see the step-by-step things that we're doing. Day 1, prosperity magic secret for wishes, cleansing and ritual and reclaiming your natural prosperous power, finding your map. Where are your problems? What is stopping you? Finding your wishes. Where do you want to go? 2 points on the map. Downloading the transformational truth of wishes fulfilled medicine, and going through these deep multisensory journeys and processes. So we go through the garden of the mind, and we go through different levels of prosperity magic, and we go through this for 2 days. Okay. We do 2 days of all these processes leading to a full, creative, empowered you. So like I said, that if you come live, please do. I'm super thrilled to see you there. However, I want you to understand that you do not have to be there live, that we will be live streaming and we're going to be recording. And so that even though it's England time, if that's too late for you, don't worry about it. All right. This is something that's going to absolutely change your life. Now, I have some bonuses. You're going to get the videos. There's a prosperity challenge. That's a series of videos that I did in the past. You're going to get a magical manifesting audio meditation. You're going to get $44 off of a wishes fulfilled session with me if you want to go there before or after, whenever you want to use it. You're going to get the Mysteries of Magical Manifestation Masterclass, and you're going to get a rewiring audio that you can put on to infuse yourself day and night, day and night, day and night with these concepts, because that's what you have to do. You have to literally brainwash yourself into a different way of thinking and feeling until all those old patterns and habits stop. Okay. So my clients tell me I'm the fairy godmother. I finally accepted it. I absolutely love that idea. And my first lady that ever said that to me, I was working with her around her business, and she completely changed her business. She manifested $3,000 from a retreat from a client. She manifested actually, she ended up meeting her soulmate through one of these things. We found a place for her to do her retreats where they paid her to come in. All kinds of magic happened. And I really believe that this is true and possible for you. So go ahead, check it out. Let me know if you have any questions. I want to be there for you. I want you to have this truth. I want you to know that this is possible. So from wherever you are right now to wherever you want to be, I wish for you all of the very, very best. See if I can turn this off. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being in the flow with me, all the different times and the craziness that happened. Everybody here is fine. We had some interesting things come up today, and all it did was shift our time. But our wishes are still fulfilled that we got to spend this beautiful time together. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Brittany. Let's see. Stepping out of the story of asking with the fear of rejection. Yeah. It's when we bring those realities, like I'm going to ask, that's good. You have to ask. You have to practice asking. You may not be elegant about it. You may, I used to turn red and all of that. That's okay, But then you look at, what am I bringing? What am I bringing with me? What truth do I have? Well, what if I'm rejected? What if they don't like me? What if this? We have to shift that. Who are you being? You have to go into that you that can ask with peace, poise, calm, confidence, knowing, receptivity, right? These are the qualities that we're going to embody, embrace, discover. We're going to discover where your blocks are. We're going to discover what your wishes are. We're going to discover how to embody that, how to feel it, what these principles are, and where to put them into place and into action in your reality. And then you're going to have these processes, and you're going to have these truths, and you're going to have these principles to refer to over and over and over again. And that's the key. If you've worked with me, which Brittany has, I'm trying to stop trying. I know, right? I'm trying to stop trying. I had a friend who used to say, I'm getting ready to try to do this thing. And I started to see energy at that time. And I was watching the energy around what he was saying. And I was like, holy hell, he's put like 5 layers of things between him and what he wants. I'm getting ready to try. Wow. Well, trying, as one teacher nonstop beat into my head, thankfully, but at the time it felt very annoying, is there's no state of trying. You're either being or doing or not being and doing. Trying is just an idea of, well, I want to do it. I think I might do it. I'm trying to do it. I think I believe, but nothing happens. So it's a state of frustration and disappointment. And it's a state that doesn't create anything. And it may feel a little bit better than being in the not doing. And maybe it means you do a little action and then you go back and you do a little action and you're back. So, do that, accept yourself where you are. I'm totally about loving and accepting yourself. Never judge yourself, never beat yourself up, never go down the road of, oh, I wasted time, or I wish I knew this before, or why didn't I know this? Or that's another waste of time. That's going back down that road. Shut the door, turn around. Where are my wishes? What would it feel like? I'm going to go for a walk on the beach now, and I'm going to go for a walk. And when I go walk on the beach, I do nothing but see and feel bliss. I look at the beauty. I look at the sun. I look at the waters. Even if it's not a beautiful day, I feel the wind. Even if there's little bugs around or whatever. Today there's butterflies flying by me nonstop as I'm swimming in this crystal clear, perfectly still ocean because it was dawn. It doesn't have to be perfect for me to enjoy it, to appreciate it. I talk to the spirits of the land. I say, why and mother, I am here. I give great respect to the consciousness of my trees. They are my guardians. That to the land, to the plants, to the trees, to the crystals, to the water, to the manta rays, to the dolphins, to the sun, to the clouds, to the rain, to the stars, to the pyramids, to the jaguar, to every single living thing that is embodied here and everything that I can't see and perceive. Life is everywhere. Life is divine consciousness expressed in an incredible variety. And I know that I can only walk in the path and see, enjoy, taste, savor, embody that which I am conscious of being. So I will walk now, and I will think about what a joy it was to be with you and how excited I am that I spoke this truth and I put this into the Akasha and I put this out in the world. And that is traveling out there to the people who need to hear it, the people who are ready to open their hearts to it, that people are telling other people, and that we are going to create a wave of consciousness that lifts us all up into living a life of truth and beauty and joy and peace and prosperity, because prosperity isn't just money. You don't need the money to have something. You don't need to know where the money's going to come from to have something. You need to say, I want it. You need to say, I'm ready for it. You need to step into feeling it, because then the how and the way will happen. But that isn't where you figure it out. So one of the sure ways of never manifesting what you want is to sit over here and say, I want that. How do I get it? Because that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be, I want that. What would it feel like? What would it feel like if it was true? How would I feel? How would I walk? How would I dance? What would I choose? What would I say? Who would I hang out with? What would my day look like? How would I feel? What minds would I have? What ideas would I have? What choices would I make? Until it is so real that suddenly you realize the people are there, the money is there, the opportunity is there, and suddenly you're living on the beach. This is the way it works. This is the truth. And I cannot wait to share more with you. Yay! Holly signing up. Yay! Hi, Lucille. Big fight happening under my window right now. What's up with that? Well, that's interesting manifestation, right? Like that's an awareness that's fighting. Something's fighting what you're learning right now. Could be a reflection of that, but you also don't have to make everything mean something, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Oh, I love you too, Maureen. I love you guys all so much. You know where I am. If you want to ask me any questions, please, please do. And don't worry about this, okay? Don't think, oh, what if it doesn't work for me? Because that's a surefire way of going backwards. So just keep remembering me saying, oh, okay, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that doubt. Thank you for sharing that fear. Thank you for sharing that anxiety. Thank you for reminding me that I've lived so long in the habit of thinking I can't have what I want, or it's not true, or it won't work for me, that you want to remind me of that. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. And receive it, accept it. And then put it in a nice little pile right here and go for your walk. And see yourself walking out of that, walking away from it. Not because you hate it, but because you feel and embody something new, and you just walk out of that big, heavy cloak into this bliss. And then you dance because you come in grateful appreciation of the divine, because the divine is waiting for you with his arms open, and the divine is waiting for you with her womb open, ready to create, ready to do whatever it is you really want every single day. The Divine Mother is creating what you want for you. Now you get to decide what that is. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for playing with me, for coming. Happy holidays to those of you who are in the US. And all of this is about infusing yourself nonstop until it is a habit, until it is known, until you have faith and you trust it. And it's not faith like, oh, I hope one day. It is faith like, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. I have to remind myself this is the truth. I sometimes say, if you've ever moved within the same town and you're driving home from work and you're so habitual to drive home to that old house that you're just thinking and your body's on subconscious programming, and suddenly drive into the driveway and you look up and realize, I don't live here anymore. I have done this. Okay. I was like, oh, wow. And I had to literally for like a week drive partway there and then stop myself like, oh my gosh, that's how your habits are. They're going to drive you back and you just keep oh, wait, there it is. Oh, there, wait, there it is. Okay. I love you so much. Take care. Be blessed. I hope I see you tomorrow and the next day in the divine place of bliss, because I'm going to be on my path of bliss, playing with the people in my field of bliss. And that's what you get to do too. Love you. Bye-bye, guys.